Hi, everyone. Welcome in. Namaste. We are back for another episode together. So, the universe has been, providing the time for me. And I definitely have a little bit of a mixed bag this week. And can you guys believe we are just about, what are we, in mid-April? Like, it's nuts, right? April 2025. So, first, let's get fully present by taking a breath together, getting fully present in the here and now. If you are driving, obviously you're not going to close your eyes, but everyone else, if you can, put down all the things, let go of your outside world, maybe place your hands over your heartbeat. Make this just a sacred few minutes together, this week for you to receive something that you're meant to hear. I don't believe in coincidences. I really believe in alignment. And we both showed up here in this space. So there's something for both of us to receive. So let's go ahead and then close our eyes. Relax your shoulders. Good. And let's take a deep inhale through the nose as you feel your breath move through the belly, the ribs, all the way up to the shoulders. And then allow your exhale to gently come out of your mouth. As you relax even more, and then breathe in through your nose. Breathe out through your nose. Dropping in here a little bit. And then slowly open your eyes. Okay. So I have been called, actually my husband and I we've been called to dive into fasting more. And it, motivated me to really dive deeper into it. And, there's really some beautiful outcomes to fasting when you fast. Now, first I want to say, obviously, it's important that it's approached with caution and consideration for your health. So please consult with your doctor, your healthcare professional, if it's advisable before, you embark on any kind of extended fast, especially. So I have, the way I live my life is through intermittent fasting, and that's having an 8-hour window, of eating, 16 hours of fasting. And it really works for me. I feel my best. I'm not a person who has to eat, first thing in the morning. I've never really been actually a breakfast person, but I've adopted this intermittent fasting lifestyle and it really works for me. But lately, even my husband, recently did a 3-day fast, and we just talked about it and noticed, how he felt, physically and mentally, energetically. And so I dove a little deeper into it, and there's a lot of beautiful spiritual reasons for fasting and other benefits that can really have a transformative effect on you, and it's when you feel called to do this, but I thought I would really get into it to explain how it can help you grow, along your personal spiritual journey. So obviously fasting, right? We're not eating, and it is a way to purify the body and the mind to create space, for a deeper spiritual connection, right? So, you know, symbolically, when I think of fasting, it's backing away from our earthly, our worldly attachments, to focus on something everlasting, divine, our connection with the divine. So as we fast, we are quieting the physical demands of our body, right? Our body physically doesn't have to digest food, right? We're giving all of those systems a break, right? So when the physical demands of our body are quieted down, what happens is it can sharpen our focus mentally and really enhance the effectiveness of our prayer, enhance the power and the experience of our meditations, and it really allows you to have a more profound sense of presence. And when you're in meditation, it's really provides and allows you to experience a deeper connection, and receptivity comes to mind. It's like you become a clear and open channel, We have allowed the body, the physical body, our container of our true essence, the container of our soul, the container of our spirit. We've given it a rest, and it really allows us to connect, sharpen our focus, but really connect to our intuition, which allows us to receive, to be more receptive to the messages, to the signs, to the insights, to be able to go deeper. Because meditation is really challenging for a lot of people, especially if it's something you're new to, And that's one way fasting can really, really allow you to have a deeper spiritual experience during prayer, during meditation. It's because we are creating more space, right? For the flow to come in, to flow through us so we can receive, we can see, we awaken, we are aware. We're moving through life with this sharpened awareness to the signs, to the messages, and to the divine guidance that we are given on a daily basis. The universe whispers. It's not always, flashing lights and big, large signs. Sometimes more than often it whispers, it's quiet, and by creating more space, we are awakening and our senses are sharpened. So another way that fasting can really, really benefit you is you're sharpening your willpower, you're strengthening your willpower. Discipline, your self-discipline. It's cultivating that discipline, and you are in control, over your physical body. You are feeling the hunger, but the mind knows, oh, I'm in control, which then can help you gain clarity and understanding and translate to, yes, I am in control of my life. I am in control of all the areas of my life. And it can really strengthen that willpower, A lot of us are lacking in just willpower for many, many things. So something else, and I know I feel this way too, is, when you're hungry, you can't help but think of people who they're always hungry. Literally people who are starving. And we can gain this sense, a humility, a humility, and remember that we really do depend on something greater than ourselves. We depend on food to stay alive, on water, And these things are gifts that we're blessed with on this earth. And it can remind you of how profound that is. And really, again, deepen your connection to, like I said, something greater than you, a higher power of your own understanding. When you feel that hunger, and we can have empathy for people, probably in our own neighborhood who maybe are missing a meal or experiencing some form of deprivation. It cultivates compassion and an understanding of suffering in a different way that some people are experiencing, But I just wanted to talk about that, as especially the increased spiritual awareness, emotional clarity that you can find. We can release blockages, you can have profound, not only prayer and meditation sessions, but, if you're working with someone, it can lead to definitely healing, clarity on traumatic events maybe that you've held on to, or you're still holding on to, or you've struggled with for many years. It can kind of bring stuck emotions, feelings to the surface. They can kind of become unstuck because we're creating this space. So it's something to be aware of, if you are feeling emotional when you fast, to work with someone, make sure you're being guided, to help with shadow work, which can be, that's when we're looking at the darker places of ourselves, or places, chapters of our life that we don't really want to look at, or experiences that we kind of shoved down, that the body holds. If these things are coming up during a time of fasting, be sure you are taking extra self-love time for you, and it can be working with a spiritual coach, a teacher, a guide, get your sessions, go to yoga, healing sessions, holistic care is something to look at, if all of these things are arising for you during a time of fasting, and ultimately I have to say, the way I feel when I fast is I feel a sense of renewal, a new beginning, and I feel grateful, for the simple things in life, like water and food, that when in actuality, they're not quite simple, right? They are essential to our life, to our breath. They allow us to take another breath. And it just makes me more grateful. But I have to say, it's something that I do throughout the year when I feel called to do it. And right now we are in the Christian Catholic tradition. It's Lent, and it's 40 days of fasting, of reflection on, yes, what are my attachments, my worldly attachments? And I say that in quotes because attachments can be, yes, food, of course, but attachments can be a routine. It can be a person. It can be a habit. It can be a negative thought pattern, and having this time, dedicating time and space for fasting and reflection and prayer and meditation, you become aware, when you're like, let me see if I can go a period of time not doing that thing, right? And then we get to experience that detachment, which then releases a form of suffering, right? When we think we can't have something, or we need to do something, or, that's an attachment. I had an attachment many years ago, and I think I spoke about this before. I was definitely addicted to, going to the gym every single day, no matter what, for hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And it was just nonstop, just like would not, and it wasn't until I really stopped and I made a conscious effort to back away from that and allow myself, to go on a spiritual journey and fast and reflect, and journaling started and all this stuff, that I broke that attachment, and I realized I don't need to do that. It wasn't really serving me. So yeah, fasting is a very personal, and I think it's a transformative experience that you can try, So, okay. On another note, I am a book junkie. I have told you I read all the books, so you don't have to. And I've also told you I am going to manifest seeing Oprah live. I am a big Oprah fan. She was a big part of a time of my life where I did a lot of personal growth on my own because of her Super Soul Sunday show. And I have in my hands, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I helped her manifest this. Her latest book is The Wisdom of Sundays, Life-Changing Insights from Super Soul Conversations. When I found out she released this, I was like, logged onto my Amazon right away, and I got it. And yeah, it's so crazy. What I'm going to do right now, I think I'm going to end the show with, there's all kinds of insights in here. And oh my goodness, I did it again. Where are my glasses? I will be right back with my glasses so I can see. That is much better. Okay. I'm going to kind of just flip through these pages, and we're going to see what I land on. I'm going to read, because this is her Super Soul Conversations. If you're not familiar with, go on YouTube. There's a bunch of them. Just all my favorite teachers: Wayne Dyer, Carolyn Miss, Marianne Williamson. Gosh, so many others. They're all in here, and there's all different insights, quotes from all of her episodes. And I'm so excited to have this. So let's ask our angels right now. Let me take a breath here before I do this. I just want to ask our angels, what insight do we need right now together here with anyone who's listening to this podcast throughout all spans of direction of time and space, no matter when, no matter where they're listening to this, whether it's now or in the future. What insight do we need? So let me go ahead and just kind of open up. Oh, okay. Okay, guess who it is? Wayne Dyer. All right, so I'm going to read this little, it's just these excerpts of her conversations. So this was part of a conversation she had with Wayne Dyer. So Wayne says, the first 9 months of your life, going back to your conception, Oprah says, you trusted God for everything. And then Wayne says, everything. You didn't say, oh my God, I hope I get a nose. And I hope it shows up in the right place. You were completely into surrender. Then you came out after the 9 months and you get surrounded by people who say, "That's really good work, God, really good work. We'll take over from here." And the minute you start taking over from here, you develop an ego, which is where you edge God out. EGO. You edge God out. Oprah said, "Oh, I never heard it that way before. That is so good." He says, yes. So you edge God out and you just push that to the side. And what is this ego? What is it? It's an idea, Oprah. That's all it is. It's an idea that we carry around. The ego says, I am what I have. I am what I do. I am what other people think of me. I'm separate from everybody else. I'm separate from what's missing in my life. And I'm separate from God. Those are the 6 components of the ego. And that's what we're raised on and what we're trained on. Meantime, we showed up here and we didn't have to do a thing. Oh my gosh. Wow. The ego is the idea that we carry around. That's just sinking in with me. Our ego is the idea we're carrying around. We think we are what we have. We think we are what we do. We think we are what other people think of us. And we think we're separate. We think we're separate from what's missing. And we think we're separate from God. And the truth is, we are not separate. We are one with God, and we can trust God for everything. For everything. And I think of nature. I don't know, we're in spring, and I just thought of, you plant the seed in the earth, and we let it go. We water it. We take care of it. We nourish it. But we're not stressing and worrying about how or when or if it will grow. We trust and we have faith in its process of growth. So I don't know, that's our message right now. And I'm going to ask you to write that down. You know, where in your life are you not trusting? Where are you not trusting your angels, God, the universe, source? The label doesn't matter. What part of your life are you not trusting? And then take some time to sit with that and journal with it. And it can be very revealing and healing. And sorry for the sirens. You hear them out there? Yeah, this is awesome. I think I'm going to keep, each week I'm definitely being called to read from this book. Okay, getting a little long, but I wanted to end on, you know me, little astrology junkie here. Want to tell you guys, things should be feeling lighter because we had, several planets in retrograde, Mercury and Venus, but we are out of it. We should be feeling really good. Okay. So I'm reading from this book that I bought. It's a planetary guide. And I just want to read to you that Venus does turn direct on Saturday evening. So it's been kind of heavy this year. This year started out really heavy. So if you feel like you have had a weight on your shoulders and you've aged 20 years, since March, we're going to start to go back to feeling like ourselves again and looking like ourselves again. And because Venus goes direct, I want to tell my ladies, my glam girls, if there's any beauty thing you wanted to do, cosmetic procedures, you want to go get a new haircut, your nails done, or you want to do something, now's the time and we don't have to stress about it. Venus is direct, so we can go ahead now, experiment with your look. I'm going to talk about that next week too, because we want to dress ourselves in the vibe of who we are manifesting ourselves to be. So yeah, join me next week for that talk. So you should feel really good. The energy should start to feel better this weekend for sure. So get out there and, march to the beat of your own drum and allow this weekend to kind of really mark the true energetic new beginning of this new year. So thank you. This got a little long this week. I'm so grateful for you, for listening, for tuning in. And until next time, I will meet you right back here and see you on Instagram for daily inspiration. And I've got several new meditations posted that are live now on Insight Timer. And FYI, click the link, join me live on Insight Timer this coming April 12th, I believe it is, Saturday. I'm going live for a talk. So I would love for you to meet me there in that space. So until next time, have a beautiful week. Namaste.